Dzień dobry, cześć i czołem. Dobry wieczór wszystkim. Mam nadzieję, że dzisiaj będziemy się świetnie bawić. Witam Was na kolejnym webinarze Szkoły Security. Dajcie znać, czy wszystko dobrze słychać i widać. Nie ma wizji. Nie ma wizji? Przemek? Nie gadaj. Ok, czy tylko u Przemka nie ma wizji? Musimy to sprawdzić. Jest ok, dobrze. Widzę też lekki podgląd u siebie na YouTubie już, więc myślę, że jest ok. O, widzę, że też użytkownicy LinkedIna dołączyli, super, cieszy mnie to. Nadajemy na YouTubie, nadajemy na Facebooku, na grupie IT Security ciekawe materiały, nadajemy na LinkedInie, na moim kanale, więc jest parę miejsc, w których nas widać. Więc dzisiaj będziemy opowiadać o bardzo ciekawych rzeczach. Jeżeli chcecie wejść do branży Cybersecurity, to zawsze fajnie jest dowiedzieć się, jak te zespoły wyglądają od środka, jak firma działa, jak te departamenty działają, więc warto moim zdaniem złapać takie informacje, no po to, żeby być lepiej świadomym, gdzie kierować swoje dalsze ruchy. Super. Dobra, to jak już wiemy, że wszystko działa, to słuchajcie, dajcie jeszcze znać, skąd nas oglądacie, skąd jesteście. Wpisujcie miasta. To zawsze fajnie wiedzieć, może jest ktoś z zagranicy. I też wspominałem w komunikacji mailowej, ten webinar będzie prowadzony po angielsku, więc na razie jeszcze słyszycie mnie w języku polskim. Za niedługo połączę się z naszym gościem i przejdziemy na angielski, żebyśmy mogli wszyscy wspólnie rozmawiać. Ok, widzę Warszawa, Gdynia, Gliwice, cześć Patrycja, cześć Justyna z Gdyni, super, mamy dużo ludzi z Pomorza. I Ola z Berlina, cześć Ola. Więc mamy jednak zagranicę. Berlin, Frankfurt, super. Wrocław. Dajcie znać, jaka pogoda w Warszawie, czy też pada. Niedługo się tam wybieram. Super. To jeszcze takie jedno szybkie, pomocnicze pytanie. Dajcie znać, czy pracujecie w branży, czy chcecie wejść do branży. Katowice, Poznań, Nowy Sącz, super. Możecie wpisać, że pracuję albo że chcę pracować. Ok, Marcin pisze, że w Warszawie leje. No cóż. To wezmę parasol. Ok. Ola pisze, że coś tam dłubie już chwilę w branży. No, tak, Ola. Dobrze dłubiesz. Tak, Witek pisze, że pracuje w branży, ale chce zmienić na działkę Cybersecurity. Super, dzisiaj będziesz mógł posłuchać, jak to wygląda w firmie Eurofins, więc myślę, że będzie fajna okazja, żeby zobaczyć, jak to działa od środka. Marcin czeka na odpowiedź. To trzymamy kciuki. Daj potem znać, jak poszło na rozmowie. Ok. To na razie wyłączę. Słuchajcie, mamy już 5 po. Myślę, że możemy spokojnie zaczynać. Z takich jeszcze rzeczy organizacyjnych, większą część prezentacji poprowadzi Anatol, którego zaraz tutaj wrzucę na ekran, a ja będę na czacie, więc jeżeli macie jakieś pytania, które się zrodzą w trakcie prezentacji, to piszcie na czacie, ja te pytania będę zbierał a potem przekażę je Anatolowi i Anatol powiedział, że bardzo chętnie odpowie na wszystkie pytania. Więc pamiętajcie, jest czat, ja tutaj będę cały czas, będę też właśnie zapisywał pytania. Tak. Okay, moi drodzy. So right now I will switch to English. As you see, I'm not a native speaker, so I believe my English is quite good. So today we've got a special guest from Eurofins company. My guest is Anatol. He's a senior manager of information security, and he knows how to deal with big department of cybersecurity and all the incidents in such big company. So please welcome Anatol. Hi, Anatol.
Thanks.
How are you?
Hello. I'm good. Very good. Thanks, Maciej. Thank you very much for that. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening to all of you. Again, thank you, Maciej, for inviting me today on this webinar. We have a lot of things to discuss. As you may all have seen in the title, is from 1 till 170 people in Eurofins in a non-IT company, because we will see that Eurofins is absolutely not an IT company. Overwhere, like in every company, IT security, it's very important, and that's why we are here today. So I hope that you will enjoy this presentation, and we can discuss at the end of that. So, as part of the yes, Maciej?
I will set the screen. So you have to go to the first slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So right now, Anatol, the stage is yours.
Okay, so I can switch to the things. Okay, so today we have a couple of things to discuss on the agenda. So there will be a quick introduction. I will of course introduce what is Eurofins, what are we doing, right? Because this is very important to understand why it's important in our business. Why do we need IT cybersecurity in general, and of course in Eurofins. I will give you the story of the cybersecurity. How do we start and where we are as of today? A bit of more insight on some approach. We are using the follow the sun approach. Again, I will explain to you that a bit later. You will understand our structure within cybersecurity, which is something that you can maybe find in a couple of companies, but this is how we are operating. And then we will have some nice case study about the cybersecurity from the department, and also some specific security thread. So as you will see, I'm sure you got already some of them, but we will together make sure that we can spot them in the future for the private or for the personal usage of cybersecurity. So my name is Anatol Soulier. As you can hear in my accent, definitely I'm not Polish, I'm not English, I'm French, right? Over where I'm based in Katowice, I'm based in Poland. I'm living in Poland since 2019 right now. I know a bit of Polish, but not sufficient to, unfortunately, to discuss. But definitely, I really enjoy to be in Poland since almost 4 years for now. I joined Eurofins in 2020, actually in May 2020. Not the best time to join a company, because it was really the beginning of the pandemic. But I must say that it's soon. It will be 3 years that I'm working in Eurofins, and I did not get bored every single second. And when I see what we need to accomplish all together with the IT cybersecurity department, there is a lot of things that will come. So definitely not a single day to be bored. I own a master degree in sales and marketing, which is a kind of a bit not in the cybersecurity department, because at the beginning I really wanted to work in sales and marketing, but always with a link with IT. And then I move more in the IT field. I work for several companies like Louis Vuitton, that I guess you all know, L'Oréal, Adidas, also as a senior manager in the consultancy, and always with a link in IT cybersecurity, because for all of that you always need the cybersecurity. And then I decided simply to just switch from the IT to the IT cybersecurity, and that's what I did when I joined Eurofins, and it was a very a great move. I do really love. I mean, I have fantastic team that I can work with. So my leadership skill are the one that I'm trying to accomplish and many to improve all the time. I like the problem, but mainly the problem solving, because this is all important, that every time there is a problem, we need to find a solution all together. Can be for the business and definitely for all the IT department. And if I talk about some of my hobby, it's basically traveling, and then I will tell you a fun fact, which is linked to the travel and music. So I was playing music. I'm still doing, but not so much time, unfortunately. And when I was talking about traveling, I was a steward. So I'm officially a steward for an airline company which is located in Qatar. Maybe you heard about Qatar Airways. I just did it for a couple of months, and then I decided to come back and to continue to work in my field. But that was just for the fun. So thanks again to everyone to be here tonight. And now we will go a bit more to discuss about Eurofins. So exactly what is Eurofins? What are we doing? So Eurofins start in 1987. So it was founded by Dr. Gilles Martin. Mr. Martin is our CEO, still as of today. And he initially founded the company with only 3 employees. So when you will see later how many we are, that's completely different. But he started the company 36 years ago. And in the same time, he bought the what we call the sniff NMFR, which is simply a technology that is able to detect the degree of sugar that you put in some alcohol. So as you can see here, we have a picture of a wine. Dr. Gilles Martin is French. So the first things was like, we need to test in the wine who is adding extra sugar, because when you add sugar in the wine, definitely the level of alcohol will raise. And this is something which is good to sell, but not good to drink. And this technology was bought by Gilles Martin, so it was using, and still as of today, this technology is not, there is no equivalent on the market. And then we use the same to do more tests on the different drinks, not only wine, again to test the level of sugar. So that was extremely important for us to do that. And then in 1987, there were now 100 employees. So we start to do the Paris Stock Exchange. So that went public. So that was also good. And we continue to extend. Definitely in 2001, pardon, we were already with 8. We were present, pardon, in 8 countries with more than 50 laboratories. Right. So again, market leader in the testing, because at the end, and you will see in the next slide, that we are one of the leaders in the testing industry. So 2012, we have been achieving one of our targets. So this information, you can also find them on the website, which was 1 billion company, right? So this is what we achieved in 2012. And in 2015, we were over 22 employees. So 2015, that's we were celebrating the 15 anniversary of Eurofins. So that was how we started, and these are the number that is as of today. So today, so again, if you see a couple of years ago, there were only 50 laboratories. Today, we have 940 laboratories with more than 61,000 employees. So I just want, again, to give you the big context to understand why is important IT cybersecurity. There is more than 1,000 independent company. We are active in more than 59 countries, which before was only 8. And we are processing more than 450 million of tests every single year. So what exactly are we testing and why it's important? So the slogan of Eurofins is simply testing for life. So you will tell me, okay, but what are you testing? we are testing absolutely everything what is possible to test, from the food. So maybe in your fridge you have some food that was tested in one of our laboratories. Or, I mean, remember the unfortunately the pandemic. We did also the test for the COVID-19. But not only this, we are testing cosmetic, feed. I mean, there is a lot of different business line that we do have, always in the mission to contribute to the health and the safety of the customer. And if you look, you see maybe forensic services. So I have a little anecdote about that. That, for example, if you go to one of the lab for the forensic, you will need to do a DNA test before entering, because that we may study some criminal case. And of course, if we see that your fingerprint was somewhere, well, I do expect that will not happen. So that's the reason why we're doing some DNA. And another little story. I was driving to France actually, and I stopped in the gas station in Germany, and then I saw that there were the big logo on one of the bakery on the gas station, pardon, that was writing testing with Eurofins, and they were selling the sandwiches. So as you can see, we are absolutely present everywhere, and that's the reason why we need absolutely to be secure. Because in all of these laboratories, of course, as you can imagine, we have laptop, we have a desktop, we have instruments that are doing the test, we have a lot of sample and a lot of data that we are accumulating. Some data are private, some data are extra confidential. So you can really feel that all of these data need to be protected. So that's why we need IT cyber security. Unfortunately, that's the bad side of that. We are facing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, a lot of threats that are coming to us, and this is what I want to show you, the type of threat that we are having in Eurofins. But this is definitely something that you can find in every other companies. But I wanted to make a bit more personal with that presentation. So, of course, there is malware attack that are coming. So it's basically some malicious software or virus, including worms, spyware, etc., etc. This is one of the most common cyber attack that is coming to us. So I will show you a little bit later how we can fight against that. But not only, there is also phishing attack. So I guess that you all know what is a phishing. You may have faced already a couple of phishing, maybe in your mailbox, that the one in the work, the one in the school, or your private one. You may have sometimes some phishing attempt. So this is still, unfortunately, one of the most important attack that we do face very often, and we need to make sure that the user is perfectly aware of how to react to this type of phishing. There is the password attack, right? So when we try to crack your password with different program, etc. So there is a lot of different programs that exist for that, but this is also a type of attack that we are facing and we are trying to fight against. Then you have this SQL injection attack, right? So when we have the hacker, I will show you a bit later, that are manipulate some website to make some specific injection to that. This is also something that we may face. Fighting against that. Denial of service attack. This is when simply you may have a multiple attack on some couple of servers, so or on the network. So we try to flow the maximum the server on the network, and then at some point it simply stop. So this is something that we are also facing, and this is a very big one. Cryptojacking. So that is about the cryptocurrency. I guess you all hear about bitcoins, etc., etc. So it's when simply somebody is able to access to your computer for doing mining cryptocurrency on your behalf. So it can come on the server, it can come on your laptop, etc. So that's the cryptojacking. It happened also, unfortunately. And you have the zero-day exploit. So you may have heard about, for example, couple of vulnerabilities. I don't know if you are if you receive some information about the last vulnerabilities, like for example Uber or the things that can happen like Log4j, etc., etc. It's simply when there is an announcement that there is a software that may be vulnerable, the attacker are coming the same day just to make sure that, okay, it did not patch too quick. I mean, they did not patch too quick, so we are able to exploit this unfortunately, this vulnerability. So that is also something that we are facing, and we are trying to make sure that we are cover all of that. So that's for the type of cyber attack. I miss one on purpose, and I will explain to you why. Because in 2019, and you can again find this in the Eurofins website, right? We got an attack, a ransomware, which is actually a ransomware attack, which is called the Ryuk. From this particular moment, everything kind of changed in Eurofins in terms of IT cybersecurity. So ransomware, what is it? It's basically, it's a malware, so same family than the malware, and he will simply take all of the data that you can have. So he will encrypt your data, so you will lose the access to your file, to your application, to your database. But if you want to access back to your data, you will need to pay what we call a ransom, and sometimes the ransom can be billions of dollars, right? To be able to access maybe again to your data. So this is what we faced in 2019. You will see in my next slide what was it, but yes. So it happened in the beginning of June, right? In Eurofins forensic. The impact was kind of huge, as you can imagine. That's what we had to do, very quick reaction. Again, very important in terms of any type of cyber attack. You need definitely to have a very quick reaction. And what was the cause? As I mentioned, it was about the Ryuk, this ransomware. And how did we recover? It took us a couple of days, weeks to be able to recover. So to rebuild the data, to rebuild the database, and then to continue to be able to work. Because again, as you can imagine, we have a lot of sample for all this business that need to be treated. And if the sample cannot be treated because we cannot have access to our main network, then it's becoming a very, very big problem. So from that moment, a lot of things change in the company, and I will present to you in the next slide what exactly came. So that is the story of Eurofins, and exactly what I mentioned. So in 2014, we got our first IT security director that joined Eurofins, and in 2016, we decided to extend the information security and to have some team in Europe and in America. So first in Europe and then in America. Then we decided to develop some CM. So what means CM is for security information event management. I will talk a bit later about that. So the CM services, the security architecture, and of course the incident management, because when you do have a security incident, you need to react to recover or to contain the incident. 2018, we have this 15 new employee in 4 more countries. So it still look a bit not so much when you think that it was only less than 5 years ago, right? In 2018, so some people joined, only a bit more than 15 in 4 countries, and then what I mentioned to you, 2019, the big event happened at the beginning of June, and then we decided to create the operation center, which what we call the SOC, for Security Operations Center. Everything accelerates from this time. 2020, more than 90 people joined. So as you can see, 2018, only 15, 2020, 90 people. So we multiply by almost 5 the number of the people. We got our first regional information security officer. That's what we call basically in the jargon a RISO, right? 90 people joined. I joined, as I told you at the beginning, in 2020. So I was part of these people, and then it continued to accelerate. 2021, we decided to have more regional information security officer. So what are the role of what we call a RISO? Is simply to be the link between the business and the security. And that is extremely important because in IT security, if you look IT security, we want to cover everything, we want to protect everything, and sometimes we are a bit too much hermetic to do some changes, right? Because in order to protect the business, we want that everything is perfectly covered almost inside the box. But as you know, that's what we want. But you have the business which has different needs. And what is extremely important is always to understand the business and the security, and that we are make sure that together we work all together to make sure that they can continue to do business, but in the same time we continue to make them secure. That is extremely important. That's why part of my team, for example, is the one that are synchronizing with our RISO. And in 2022, so last year, we finished with more than 150 employees. But these are just the number from 2022, which we already closed. We are the 2nd of February today, and you will see there is already some new number about that. So as you can see, in less than 4 years, so 2018 till 2022, we multiply by 10 the number of people within IT security. And this is just IT security. So you can imagine how much it's important that your business, that you are secure, and if you are looking for any type of new position, this is very, very good to be like that. Now we'll talk a bit more about how do we operate, because okay, we have 150 plus people, but how do we operate? So we decided to go to what we call an approach which is follow the sun. So basically, follow the sun is a support model, right? It's a support model which works the best for the service desk, and like that we are able to 24/7 to have a global support. I'm talking here only about the IT security. So having people a bit all over the world, that's why follow the sun, right? Having people a bit all over the world, it makes us to be more responsive to the business in the same time, because we will work in the same time zone. So we have people a bit everywhere, and I will show you just later. So like that, we are again closer to the business with this approach, working on different time zone, and this is what matter in the IT security. So this is the idea, and this is how we are operating. So as I mentioned, we are already more than 150, even though it was just end of 2022. And today we have more than 170 people within Eurofins IT security. There is 20 open position and even a bit more as of today. And this is where we are located. So we have some team members which are located in Malaysia. We have a big service center which is in India, in Europe, Luxembourg, Netherlands, UK, Germany, Spain, but the big pole is Poland, right? So in Katowice, this is really the big pole for the whole world. And we have our guys also that are located in Costa Rica. So as you can see, follow the sun approach is very, very visible. And by doing that, we are very closer to the business because we can react 24/7. That's for the incident response, but we are also able to reply almost 20/5, so 20 hours by 5 days for business purposes. So that's why follow the sun. It's very, very, very important. So we in Eurofins and in IT cybersecurity, we work with different pillars. So what is a pillar? That's exactly what I want to introduce to you. So first, we have, and I already discussed, the Security Operations Center. So that was created in 2019, and the Security Operations Center, it's basically is the centralized organizational unit where they will continuously monitor all relevant activity that is related to the IT infrastructure. So we have our SOC, we have people inside, which are divided in a couple of teams. So for example, you can find the security toolset. So security toolset, what is it? It's simply some different team that make sure that our security services or security products are working and are operating 24/7 all the time. They are monitoring. For example, what we need to protect as a baseline of security is your laptop. You protect your laptop, for example, with an antivirus. This is one of the tool set that you may find in the security toolset team. But not only, you need also to protect your network. You need also to protect. As I was mentioning, we have laboratories, so any type of endpoint, so instruments, server, etc., all of that need to be protected. In the same time, when you protect all of your endpoint, you protect. So you put the tool in place, everything is fine. You need some people to monitor that, right? Because if we find any suspicious activity, we need to have some real team member, what we call our incident response team. So the security incident response is a team basically which is 24/7 monitoring all type of event, of alert, and anytime there is something which is suspicious, they will directly actionize any action in terms to fight against the threat that we may face. In the same time, that's basically what is the monitoring. But you can find different teams like security intelligence team, the threat hunting team, or purple team. There is a lot of different things. What these guys are doing, so I can give you an example. They will look on the dark web if there is any password leakage that happen. So you can again understand that it's good to monitor, but it's good to be a step further by simply checking on the dark web if there is not somebody which are stealing the password of Eurofins, for example. But it can be any type of organization. I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago the case of Uber, for example, and there were definitely this password that were leaked on the dark net. The same with Revolut, etc. So you can see there is really, unfortunately, a bad business which is happening behind, and we need also to monitor that, and that's extremely important. So that is for the SOC, which is really one of our biggest pillars. But we have the security engineering, which is basically some other team. We have the security architecture, so they can provide any type of consultancy. Again, in order to be close to the business would like to use a new tool, a new software, or simply to build a new network. So we need consultancy of some security engineer that this guy will, security architecture, pardon, that this guy will give us a go, like, yes, this tool is secure enough, or the architecture of what you want to define is also good enough, so you can continue to work. So that is very important. We have also some type of team like the privilege access management and system resilience. So I was talking about vulnerability. So we need to monitor every type of vulnerabilities that can happen, to not have, for example, the zero-day exploit type of threat that can happen. We need also to check everything, again, relating to security. And the last but not the least, the last not the least is the security governance. So security governance, pardon, it's here to apply the strategy of the organization. So you can find inside some service delivery management. So actually, it's one of my team, where we need to make sure that all of the services are correctly working, that the business is able to understand that everything is fine. You have correct reporting into that, which is also one of the team. The policies are in place absolutely everywhere, that the group policy are applied, and of course, as I mentioned, we always need to upgrade our security. And how do we do that? It's simply with one of the team, which is called the security update program, which are the one of the team that will always continue to make our level of security higher. So this is very, very important that you understand how we work in Eurofins. And with these three pillars, we need to make sure that the business is secure. That's basically that. Why cybersecurity is important? So as I was mentioning, most business have a lot of information that need to be protected. We can talk about the financial, we can talk about the social security number, because we are working also with a couple of hospital, the medical information, etc., etc., etc. Sometimes even maybe some national security secret, right? That can be. All of that need to be protected. So that is very, very important that your data are protected all the time. Unfortunately, there is everywhere some threat and some hacker. So we really need to make sure that you will be protected in the correct way. Everybody want to extract your data, to take your data, and that is very important. Then anytime there is any security breach, this is very expensive. I explained to you the case of 2019 with the Ryuk, with the ransomware, but you need to understand that this is very, very important, that we need to cover that. Of course, the attack are getting more and more impressive. The attacker are always checking what is the new things to do. There is also some company that are paying hackers, right, to find new thread. There is some sponsor which is happening, right? So if you want to become a hacker, there is some sponsoring that exists. This is really happening. I'm sure you are already aware about that. But there is not only this. There is the IoT, which is the Internet of Things, which make the easier for the hacker. So you will tell me, okay, what is it? You may know, maybe at home you have some bulb which you can simply pilot with your voice assistant. I will not mention them because it may turn on and off your house, but you know what I'm talking about. So there is bulb, there is the assistant, there is internet everywhere in all the machine, also in maybe in our simply in our vacuum, in our robo vacuum. So that make the life easier for the hacker, because they are produce all of these component, all of this tool and gadget. They are produced in mass. So we need to make sure that we are protecting also about that. Something that changed completely the world is the pandemic. So we need to adopt adopt to a remote workforce, because I guess a couple of you right now today are looking from home. You are maybe working from home full time or sometimes part time, and sometimes it's also good to work from a coffee. You may have your favorite coffee where you would like just for 1 or 2 hours having there. So we need to adapt that you are not working anymore in the office where we can have a VPN and the Wi-Fi is already protect. No, we need to adapt to that. So that's very, very important, that security need to adapt to that. And of course, what happened during the pandemic, for example, we saw that there were an increase during the chaotic time. Can be also sometimes because of the war. Any type of chaotic time, you will always see a peak in the cyber attack. So that's very important that we adapt to all of that, because this is changing continuously. This is changing in a daily basis, and cybersecurity need really to be aware and on top of all of that. But it's not green all the time, unfortunately. So we are facing a lot of different challenges into cybersecurity, because at the end of the day, what is vulnerable, not talking about the software, is also the user, right? So all of us, we are definitely vulnerable. So we need to recognize that we are all a target. Unfortunately, you may already have some family, friends that tell you that they got something like with the if you buy something online with the credit card, etc. So we need to recognize that we all need to be protected, because we could be a target. We need to inform and continue to inform the employee that there is some threat outside or inside the organization. So sometimes we are not doing the communication in the correct way. So that's very important, that there is something, and the training of the employee is always very important in the cybersecurity. As I was mentioning, the data breach due to remote work. Please be careful when you are working from a different location than your home, that you have a proper VPN in place, and that your data are safe, right? If you are connecting to the airport or anywhere, that is extremely important. So we are facing that, because some of the employee, sometimes again, you love to have a coffee outside, but you need to make sure that you have at least a VPN in place. Missing security patch, yes, it's still happening in 2023. Some people simply do never update their laptop. So you need to remind them that, please, your laptop is not compliant. So we need to continue to patch. That can be your laptop, that can be the system, that can be whatever. But this is very important. This is something that we are facing on a daily basis. Bring your own device. That's also something. Sometimes you have a phone which is way better than the one that it can be provided by the company, or simply because you love the OS, or you love the you know your phone, or you know your tablet, you want to use that. But that's also something that is a challenge, because sometimes inside your phone, or inside your tablet, or your device, your laptop, there may be some thread that you did not notice. So that's also one of the challenges that we are facing, but that need to be within security. And the lack of corporate security program, that was what I was discussing 2 slides ago. We need to make sure that we always have a security program. We need to make sure that we always increase our level of cybersecurity. Treating cybersecurity like is a IT instead of financial issue. Yes, that's also a challenge, because sometimes they say, yeah, I'm very good. I do not have any cyber attacks since 2 years, so I'm perfectly fine. But you need to understand the business, that no, any type of incident will have a direct impact on the financial. So you need to make sure that you are protected. And the last but not the least is the lack of information security representation that can be on the board. Sometimes we put the cyber security a bit aside, because simply, well, we don't like the guy, because yes, they are too much strict. They don't want you to do some fun and cool stuff, like using my laptop to listening Spotify on, for example, or Facebook. So we may be a bit, but no, again, that's what I was mentioning, and that's what we are trying to do on a daily basis: bring the business and the cybersecurity together to make sure that we do a good job. We don't. We allow them to do their business, and they allow us to make sure that they are secure. So that's one of the challenge. I mean, that's a couple of challenges, pardon, that we have. And now I would like to go with you with some case study. How do we operate in Eurofins, as I was promising? So the first one is very, very common. Actually, it's a phishing email. Again, this is something that unfortunately we are facing on the daily basis. We are facing that, and I'm sure you are facing that. So you may receive some very nice information from, I mean, nice email from someone that pretend to be somebody that you know, or a company that you know. But what we are trying to do, again, this is something that we are doing to all of our users very, very often, as much as we can, and we have training for that. We need to make sure that they understand that phishing is everywhere, and that can be a simple email that completely change everything. How can you spot that this is a phishing email? I'm sure you already seen a couple of things. There is always a sense of urgency. So phishing email will not tell you you need to do an action in 2 months. That's never. You need to do an action now, and that's why people sometimes, unfortunately, they will click on the link, because there is really something that we need to do now. There is not only the phishing, there is also the vishing, which is something by voice. Somebody can call you and pretend that is someone from your company, and ask you to act quickly to send money, for example. But here I'm talking just about phishing, but the principle is kind of the same. So a sense of urgency. If you've seen that, if you spot that on one of the email, just take a step back and really do more analysis into that. Definitely, we may find sometime spelling or grammar mistake, like you could see here. You are required or prevent missing some letter. It can make you realize that, oh, something is fishy, I will say. But yes, definitely there is something which is wrong. In the same time, the email address, always look from where the email address is coming to you. Like, for example, this one is accountsecuritybank@gmail. I'm quite sure that your bank will never send you an email address with Gmail. So that's definitely, you say, no, this is a phishing. I think I received 3 days ago something by Amazon, but it was ama.zone. Okay, well done, but no, I spot you out. But that can be the case for your company. They will simply miswrite the name of your company, like for Eurofin, euro.fin. And if you are not really attentive into that, you will say, okay, it's from Eurofin. Well, not, unfortunately, it is not. There is, again, generic greeting or salutation. That means that they will not call you directly, because they are sending the phishing to 100,000 of people. trying to spot one. So that can be also something that it can be very interesting for you to spot. Many, when you have an action which is required from you, from your bank, it should be addressed to you. And then some suspicious link. So as you could see here, we were simply moving the mouse on the link, and you can see is definitely not your the link direct to your bank, but something which is completely different. So also the same, when you are seeing something like that, just put your, don't click, but just put your mouse on the link, which is, and you will see if it's really going to the correct address, because I'm sure if you have your bank, you know that it cannot be malware.com. For example, again, here we are trying to be really generic about that, but these are the things that we are seeing in Eurofins really often. So let's say that I have one of my guy that definitely is doing a phishing. So we have some hacker. They are sending a lot of email, and that's the hacker. I know we are representing all the time the hacker with a hoodie, right? But this is my hacker. So what he will do, as I mentioned, he will send some phishing email to the target, again, to hundreds of people, thousands of people. But unfortunately, this guy did not read properly all the document. He did not do the training. So let's say that he's clicking on the list, on the link that was there. So definitely he will visit what is a fake website. So he think he's going on the website of his bank, for example, or on the website of one of Eurofins, where he will definitely need to log in the website. And because it's not, of course, you know already that is not a proper website, then the hacker will directly collect his information, so his credential, his password, everything that he can collect from this malicious website that was created, and he will go directly to the real website, and then with the information that he took, and then he will try to, so if it's the bank, for example, he will try to harm you by taking the money, sending and doing some transfer. But if it's for the company, he can also take the data and then simply do that. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, it happened. It happened quite some time. So we do have what we call playbook in the term of cybersecurity, and let's say that we have a phishing email that is received, right? So we have our network event monitoring in place, so the CM that you were seeing. We have our incident response team, which is also in place, and we receive that something happened, that there is a phishing email. So sometimes it's simply the user that are telling us, hey, there is a phishing email that we are receiving. Please, let's do something, because 20 of my guys, 100 of my guys receive the same email, so that there is an attack ongoing to us. So what we usually do first, there is a notification which is received by the incident response team. So for that, we have some specific also email address. So we receive like, oh, there is something which is happening, which is in the background. So we need to be careful on that. We need to do some analysis. Simply what I did for you. So there will be one of our incident security response team member that will simply look, performing some analysis on the header, on the URL, on the attachment, because sometimes there may be an attachment into that. Then they will simply decide what need to be done. So they will inform the user, this is a phishing email, please do not do anything, do not click on that. Or sometimes they will say, this is an official email, you can simply go ahead. But it may happen that we are performing some analysis. And definitely, if it's a real phishing email, then we will block the URL, we will block the sender, we can reset the password if, unfortunately, the user click on the link and provide his password. So automatically we need to reset his password, like that he cannot connect anymore. And then we have what we call the threat intelligence, that the team will start to investigate what is happening in the background, see if there is not something that was sold in the dark web. They will enrich the information that we have. But there is really a lot of things that is happening in the background in order to contain the incident. Then we will do some host analysis. So what is a host analysis? We will look on your laptop if there is no malware or any Trojan or anything that, unfortunately, because of you click, somebody already infiltrate your laptop and put some things into that. So using the log, using our antivirus tool, etc., etc. And then we will decide what to do with that, if there is further action that need to be done, or if everything is clean from the laptop perspective. And then we can simply, because we already reset the password, we can simply move on and say to the user, okay, password is reset. We are looking in the with the threat intelligence, and then there is something else to do. But let's say that unfortunately, well, this guy is really not lucky at all. We found a malware. So malware found will automatically trigger another playbook, which I will show you in a minute, which is simply the malware infection playbook. So we found the malware. So again, our user is really not correctly informed, unfortunately. So he click, there is a malware on his host. So we need to act. Again, every single minute, every single second that is happening may become a real big problem. It's already a problem, but it may become very wide. So we need to act super fast. That's why we are working 24/7. So first of all, what we look is, do you have the security tool installed? So are you protected with antivirus, etc., etc., etc. Then we need to do some analysis on the infected host. So it can be complete laptop or a simple file, a folder. So we are checking again the logs. Good, because at least the guys was having the security toolset installed. Then we can kill any type of process, because as you know, once an attacker is taking the control of your laptop, he can definitely do a lot of things. So that's why we need to kill the process, isolate from the network your laptop, I mean the host or whatever, delete the fight, try to reimage the host. So we will simply wrap up. If we have a backup in place, well, in that case, we will also check the backup if there is no infection into that, and then we will update all the security tools into that. And the user should be able to reuse his laptop. But it's not finished, because when you do that, okay, the user is, let's say, at this point safe, but we still need to continue to do log analysis. And this can take some time because we really need to understand what happened, how it happened, when it happened, because it can be something that happened already couple of days, weeks, months ago, and the host was already infested. So we really need to understand what is happening. Again, still do the enrichment of the threat intelligence, because we always need to be on top of everything, and that is very important. If there is any lateral movement that happened during that time, that's also something we need to check. Eradicate the malware. And then again, isolate any type of affected host if there were more than one, because sometimes the infection can be spread. So for that, we have a lot of things to do. And the most important is to create a report and the lesson learned. So at the end of the incident, when the incident is what we call contain or simply resolve, we need to make sure that we understand what is happening. So our incident response team should write what we call a post-mortem, incident report. I mean, there is a couple of names for that, but what we are doing here is that we need to have the report, understand what is happening, and make maybe more communication, as you were mentioning of the challenge, more communication on what was the failure, where did it get wrong, and how we can make sure that we are protected for the next time. So these are two short playbook that I share with you today, just to give you a bit of more data. In this type of process, how many people can work in just this? It can be from 2-3 people to more than 10 and 20 people that are working into that. Because again, we need to act fast and we need to make sure everything is covered. So this is simple playbook. Of course, I do a very a nice summary of all of them, but that can be a lot of people involved in any type of attack. And that's pretty it from me. So thank you very much for your time. As I mentioned here, please stay secure, stay secure, and yes, thank you very much. Maciej, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Anatol. It was a really great presentation. There was a hot discussion on chat regarding
Okay.
the support of the board Yeah, I believe that this is something that should be in the first place. The support from the board. Yeah, regarding those playbooks, did you create it from scratch, or did you, or they are based on some kind of NIST document or anything like this?
We definitely use some model from the NIST, but at the end we always need to tailor this playbook by our needs, by the needs of the security, by the needs of the business, and to make sure that everything is in place. Of course, as I mentioned, yes, we are using NIST.
Yeah, I heard about incident handling rooms, like war rooms.
Yeah.
And dealing with those situations. So did you provide any pizza for guys that they were dealing with those incidents?
Well, in Eurofins, we do also war room. Anytime there is a big incident, definitely there is a war room. Of course, sometimes we need to stay long time. So if we are in office, yes, we make sure that everybody has water, pizza, etc., etc. I'm also part of the group of the war room sometimes, so I know. But yes, in my previous company, for example, we were definitely having sometimes 2 or 3 days of war room, and yes, that was big. So we make sure that our employees are perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's good to hear that. You have to protect the people in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so we had some questions, but your colleague Grzegorz support us, so he answered already. Grzegorz
Okay.
Filipczyk.
Thank you, Grzegorz.
Yeah, it's our common colleague, so we know each other. But there is a question about, can you drop names of couple of roles, position within the security governance?
Okay, yes, definitely. I mean, you can simply also talk to me via LinkedIn. LinkedIn, we have a lot of job position which are available on LinkedIn. We have also on the Eurofins website the career. But talking about the security governance, I'm actually looking for some people in the service delivery management and onboarding. I will not develop here more, but you can definitely come back to me, and there is a more position, definitely.
Okay, yeah, this was my second question. Where people can find you, and are you open to connect to the networking?
Sure, absolutely. As I mentioned, my LinkedIn is open. I'm trying to reply as much as I can, and definitely it's a pleasure to meet you. So yes.
Okay, guys, do we have any more questions? If not, it was a really pleasure to have you here and to hear your story and the story about Eurofins. It was really interesting, and it gives us a big picture of how company is big and what you have to do as a security department. Yeah, lots of work.
We are not bored, so you are welcome. Thanks everyone. Again, thank you, Maciej, for having me here tonight. And yes, talk to you soon. Thanks.
Anatol, sorry, there was a last question. How big is security engineering team? Okay,
I think of between 15 and 20 people. I don't have all the number of all the team in my head, but it's kind of big team, yes.
Yeah, once again, Grzegorz helped us.
Yes, I saw that. So I was correct, actually, between 15 and 20. Yes.
And do you have this dividing to red team, blue team, and others specialists?
We have purple team.
Okay, guys. So once again, thank you, Anatol, for your time, for your presentation. We'll keep in touch. So maybe we'll hear one more time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. Okej, moi drodzy, jak widzieliście, mieliśmy prezentację po angielsku, trochę sobie porozmawialiśmy. Mam nadzieję, że było to dla Was interesujące. Tak jak Anatol wspomniał, jeżeli macie jakieś pytania, to śmiało piszcie do niego. Jeżeli chcecie, jeżeli ktoś dołączył później, to pamiętajcie, że też nagranie dotrze do Was jutro. Jeżeli się tylko zapisaliście na stronie z webinarem, to dostaniecie to nagranie jutro w mailu, też ze wszystkimi dodatkowymi informacjami. A póki co życzę Wam miłego wieczoru, trzymajcie się ciepło, cześć.